The Zarathian guard shoved Arya Miles through the obsidian gateway, her boots skidding across the damp stone floor as the massive door sealed behind her, with a finality that echoed through the cavernous chamber. She stumbled forward, catching herself against the cold wall, her breath coming in sharp gasps as her eyes adjusted to the dim, bioluminescent glow that pulsed from the moss-covered walls. Another human, one guard had laughed as they dragged her from her cell. Let's see how long this one lasts with Sareth. The dungeon stretched before her, a vast underground pit that the Zarathian Empire used for their most creative executions. And at its center, coiled around ancient pillars that disappeared into the darkness above, was Sareth, the legendary serpent whose venom could dissolve bone in seconds, whose scales were harder than starship hull plating, and whose appetite for the Empire's condemned was the stuff of nightmares across 3 star systems. Arya's hands trembled as she pressed herself against the wall. She'd been captured during a failed evacuation of a human colony world, one of dozens that had fallen to the Zarathian expansion. They'd called her a terrorist for helping children escape. Now she would die here alone in the dark. A sound like boulders grinding together filled the chamber. Sareth was moving. The serpent's head emerged from the shadows and Arya's breath caught in her throat. It was massive, larger than the transport shuttle that had brought her to this prison moon. Scales the color of midnight rippled with an inner luminescence and eyes like molten gold fixed upon her, with an intelligence that sent ice through her veins. A forked tongue, each prong as thick as her arm, tasted the air. So, a voice rumbled not through the air but directly into her mind, ancient and vast as a collapsing star. They send me another morsel. Arya's knees buckled, but she forced herself to stand straight. If she was going to die, she'd do it on her feet. I'm not afraid of you, she lied, her voice barely a whisper. The serpent's laughter was like thunder. All creatures fear death, little one. Your kind especially. So fragile, so temporary. Sareth's head lowered, moving closer, until Arya could see her own terrified reflection in those golden eyes. Why do you not run? Why do you not scream? What's the point? Arya's voice cracked. You'll catch me anyway. Might as well get it over with. The serpent paused, tongue flickering out to taste the air around her. Resignation, despair, but also defiance, curious. Sareth's massive head tilted. You are not like the others they send me. The Zarathians scream, they beg. They promise wealth, power, anything for a few more moments of existence. I have nothing to offer you, Arya said quietly, except maybe a conversation? Before the end? For a long moment, Sareth was silent. Then the serpent withdrew slightly, coiling into a more relaxed position. You wish to talk? And so Arya talked. She told Sareth about Earth, about her grandmother's garden where she'd first learned to love living things. She spoke of the ocean she'd never see again, of music and laughter, of the children she'd helped escape and her hope that they'd made it to the free colonies. She talked until her voice grew hoarse, until exhaustion made her sway on her feet. You love your people, Sareth observed, something strange in that telepathic voice, even knowing they cannot save you. Love doesn't require salvation, Arya replied, sliding down to sit against the wall. That's not how it works. The Zarathians locked me here 300 years ago, Sareth said suddenly. They feared my power, my refusal to serve their empire. So they made me their executioner, feeding me their condemned. They think me a monster. The great serpent's eyes dimmed. Perhaps they are right. Arya looked up at the creature that was supposed to kill her. Have you eaten everyone they sent? The guilty, yes. The cruel. The murderers and warmongers. Sareth's head lowered again, this time gently. But sometimes they send me innocents. Those who defied the Empire, who showed compassion, who dared to help others. A long pause. I have not eaten in many months. Understanding dawned on Arya like sunrise. The Zarathians don't know. They count bodies in, but they never check if bodies are left. Sareth's telepathic voice held something that might have been amusement. There are tunnels, hidden passages to the surface. The innocent ones, the ones with your kind of spirit. I send them away. Tears burned Arya's eyes. Why are you telling me this? Because you did not run. You did not beg. You spoke to me as if I were a person, not a monster. Sareth's massive form shifted, revealing a crevice in the far wall. Go, Arya Miles, find the tunnel behind that crack. Follow it upward. There is a resistance camp 2 kilometers north of where you will emerge. Tell them Sareth sent you. Arya stood on shaking legs. Come with me. I am too large for the tunnels, little one. And my venom courses through the stone itself now. I am part of this prison. The serpent's eyes gleamed with something ancient and sad. But knowing that some escape, that some still fight, that is enough. Now go before the guards return. Arya hesitated, then did something that would have seemed insane hours before. She walked forward and pressed her hand against Sareth's scales. They were warm, humming with barely contained power. Thank you. Survive, Arya Miles, help others survive. That is thanks enough. When the Zarathian guards came the next morning to remove the body, they found Arya Miles sitting cross-legged in the center of the chamber, braiding dried moss into rope, while Sareth's massive form lay coiled around her protectively. The serpent's head rested near the human girl, who was absently scratching under its chin scales while humming a tune from Earth. Impossible, breathed one guard. Arya looked up with a smile that held no fear, only quiet triumph. She'd spent the night listening to Sareth's stories of the stars, of freedom, and making a plan. The resistance would come. They always did when one of their own went missing. And the Zarathian Empire was about to learn what every predator eventually discovers. Humans don't tame easily, but they befriend readily. And there is nothing in the galaxy more dangerous than humanity, with an ally who's been waiting 300 years for revenge. Sareth's telepathic laughter rolled through the chamber like approaching thunder, and for the first time in centuries, the great serpent felt something it thought it had lost forever. Hope.